Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Miladies. I am your spirit shifter here, guiding you on your journey through astrology, self-awareness. And this is a highly requested video. We're going to be understanding transit energy and astrology, which is normally what we talk about on this channel. And we'll get deep into what is a transit, what does it mean for you. We'll give some great examples. And down below, I created 20 common astrology terminology. And I did it in a way where it's brought down to our language. I pray that you enjoy it because I put work into it. I was reading a lot and I was putting it together. Okay. And so it'll talk about trine, T squares, and it's very simple. So I broke it down very simple. So go ahead and get that down below. Okay, it's free. Yes, I did it for you for free. All right. So today, like I said, we're going to be talking about transit, which is one of the uh, foundations in astrology in a sense. Why? Because it's what's currently happening. Okay. So grab your tea, grab your journal, and I will be sharing my screen so that you guys can get an example of that. So, with that being said, for those of you who are on TikTok, come follow on YouTube if you want to see what I'm sharing. Rich Rising. And Maria, I thought about you and I got you. What am I putting out? I'm putting out highly requested videos that I have not yet recorded for you guys to dive deeper into. So I thought about you this morning when it came to the sacred numbers, números sagrados. So I got you on the video. All right. So I'm going to be sharing my natal chart for my business. And that is what's going to, hold on, help us out. So what we currently looking at, before we get into the transit, we have to get a gist of our birth chart, right? So our birth chart is a freeze frame of the sky, the moment that you took your first breath. Remember, freeze frame. So that's basically sharing who you are, what your missions are, the way you love, how you're going to grow, the karmas that we're breaking through, right? And so that is basically your astrology DNA. Okay. So what you're looking at is the astrology. Oops. Sorry, give me 1 second. What you was looking at was the astrology DNA of my business. How did I come up with this? And this is very known. The day that I incorporated my business was the day that my business was born. So that's what I use. And so with that being said, this is the freeze frame of Galactic. All right. Now, when we hold on, I'm working with a lot of tabs here. So when we fast forward to today, April 2025, and whenever you're watching the video, right? We're talking about the planets continuing to move. The planets did not stop moving the day that you were born. All right. So if you want to think about the transits as the weather, I give many examples. All right. And when you think about the weather, you think about when it gets stormy, when the sun is out, when it's raining. This is how we're going to think about the transits. All right. So The planets are still dancing, they still shifting, they still doing what they got to do. They clashing, they touching each other, they connecting in many points in your chart. So this is why a lot of people always ask me, why do I feel this way? What's going on in the skies? That's the transit. All right. And so you will feel the chaos. You will feel the endings. You will feel the blessings. You will feel the happiness, depending again on how the weather is happening in your natal chart. Okay. So I'm going to share a small hack on how to memorize this in a sense, right? I got to put my tabs so y'all can know where y'all at when y'all see this video. So we're going to think about the houses in your natal chart. So if you can see right here is house 1, you got the number, house 2, house 3, house 4, house 5, house 6, right? And it goes all the way to 12. So these houses, think about it as guests, rooms that guests go into. So the transits are the guests. They come in and they go into room number 1. And now room number 1, you receiving blessings and you feeling nice, right? Visitors coming in to drop in blessings. Room number 2, some visitors coming in to drop chaos, and they coming in with trauma and drama. And in room number 3, you have another guest who's coming in to tell you to clean your house. So that guest could be Saturn. Saturn could be coming in with a clipboard in your 3rd house, your 3rd room, and telling you, astrologically, I'm gonna need you to grow up in this. I'm gonna need you to be responsible in this. All right, I'm gonna need you to get it together. And there's no shortcuts around this. Following me? All right. So if you think about Venus, Venus goes into the 5th room, your 5th house, and Venus is like, you know what? Forget about Saturn real quick. Let's light up a candle. Let's sip something nice. Let's sit back. Let's be fancy. All right. What makes our heart grow? What's making my heart sing right now? And that's the guest in the 5th house. All right. And then think about Mars knocking on room number 10, which is the 10th house. And Mars is like, time out. You haven't been speaking up for yourself. You haven't been standing up for yourself. Nah, we're about to handle this right now. All right. Because Mars has that aggressive energy. Mars has that I'm going to get shit done energy, move out my way energy. All right. So I created this analogy for you so that you can understand that each planet, when it's knocking on your door, comes in with a different lesson. And it comes with its own vibe. All right. So here's another example. You've been feeling off on your friendship area, and then you might be feeling upset that a friend is not paying attention to you, you're not being supportive, or you might feel like you was outgrowing a friendship some way, somehow. And then all of a sudden you look at the weather in your natal chart, which is the transit, and you find out that in room number 2, you have Uranus creating a bit of chaos, endings, unexpected shifts in your life. And then you like, oh, okay, time out. This is not random. This is something that the weather created so that I can shift through it. So it's no longer a sense of like, oh, wow, this is a coincidence. It's more of like, here is something that we're presenting to you so that you can clear this room out and begin to learn the lessons, receive the blessings, cut through the karma. So when these transits come in, they're coming in to really make us become more aware and gain more wisdom and knowledge. A lot of times these transits that we shift through in our natal chart, we've been there before. We've been there before, but this time around we got more wisdom. And we'll talk more about that as I speak about the cycles. Okay? How y'all doing? Right? We call them guests. Don't forget to download the 20 common astrology words so that you can be able to print it out. All right. Yeah. Right now we should have an astrology journal already because you love figuring out about yourself. So print it out and keep it with you because you are watching the videos that I put out and now we can bang together. You feel me? So shout out to everyone who kept asking me to do this video, kept asking me to provide some verbiage. I gotcha. All right. So, and I love y'all. Get y'all fucking charts. All right. So we're going to continue. So now here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the transit energy. Right now, what we're looking at is the natal chart of my business. So now I'm going to add the transit by wheel, and then you're going to see how it all falls together. Okay. So I know it's a lot. It's like, oh my God, it's a lot of things. Yes. All right. So you guys follow me here. You see the light gray inside? That is always going to be your frozen frame natal chart, the inside information. All right. And then it's always the outer wheel that tells you, the dark gray right here, what is currently happening right now and how it's being basically puzzle pieced into this natal chart. So when many of us are going through Mars energy, you may have Mars shifting the weather in your second house, and I may have Mars shifting the weather in my 8th house. Even though it's happening, right? It's raining at the same time, it's raining in different areas of our rooms. Okay. And so then is when you can identify, this is the area that I'm supposed to be working on, where your husband, your sister, your child could be working on the first room, you're working on the eighth room. Now we can see why at times we may be clashing with people in the same household because we're going through different things. And this is why I always mention that this energy is not just for you, it's for you and everyone around you. So when you get to understand and continue, right, this is a continuous basis of studies that you enjoy. Now you have to do, but a study that you enjoy, you'll be able to dive deep into yourself and get to harness this energy and allow it to work for you. Okay, so right now we can see that the outer wheel, even though here we're going to focus on the 10th house, you see number 10, even though this natal chart says that this person was born with Neptune in the 10th house, all right, in Pisces, you can see that in the outer wheel, Neptune is in Aries currently, which is the weather, and is activating, it's shifting the room in the 11th house. So that automatically means that this person has to focus their energy when it comes to Neptune and Aries in their friendship sector, all right, in society, all right. And you guys, I'll make a video. I already have. I have a webinar about the houses, and you got some of y'all already been through it. So I'll put the webinar out there so you can go and get it. so you can understand a little bit more about the houses. This is about the transit energy, so you guys can understand how to put the puzzle pieces together. Okay, so you can see here that Neptune energy is affecting the 11th house, not the 10th house. So when we look at the current weather, this is the energy that we're talking about. This is the energy that we're focusing on so that we can be able to know what to do now. When it's just your natal chart, which is what I'm going to show again, when it's just your natal chart, this is your foundation. This is what you're going to be working throughout your lifetime, right? Which is why we always go back to certain themes. Oh, I thought I still worked on my inner child. And then the weather storm comes and says we haven't. Let's go back to your third room, your third house, and focus on your siblings, your neighbors, your elementary school, your junior high school. And you like, but I don't care about that. But it's like, no, those are things that are coming up, whether you like it or not. You ready? Okay. So how are you guys feeling? Let me know. So we're going to go back. And now that you guys see this, I'm going to go just into the transit now. And now this is April 9th, 2025 at 9:16 a.m. in New York City. Every time we shift a city, every time we shift a state, a country, this weather changes. Again, why people are in Florida and maybe experiencing sunshine while we are here experiencing 30-degree weather in New York. All right. So we're going to go into a bit of some key terms when it comes to the transit. I'm going to share 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to share 5. However, there are more astrology terms that I created for you. Again. All right. This way so I don't have to make this video so long for y'all. Y'all know I like to be a chattermouth. So the first, wait, there's one more thing I gotta do. So the first one we're going to talk about conjunctions. C-O-N, I'm spelling it, C-O-N-J-U-N-C-T-I-O-N. So when you think about a conjunction, you think about your bestie, right? You and your bestie are coming together and y'all sitting real close to each other. Think about yourself being in an auditorium or a theater and y'all sitting really close to each other. Now, this energy can be dope. It can be energizing at times, or it can be a bit too much. All right. So when you think about a conjunction, when you think about Mars and Venus coming together and they become besties, right? That's the masculine and the feminine energy. They become besties and they can either create chaos depending what room they're in, or they can create a balanced energy. So when we think about conjunctions, we're thinking about two planets that come together and sit as best friends. Okay. Remember when I be talking about squares? Literally think about a square because that's what you will see in the natal chart. And I'll share that with you guys. This is the square right here. Let me see if I just make it more easier. All right, you see this right here, this square? That's a square, which I should have showed y'all conjunction. My apologies. Let me do that. Where you at? There's no conjunction today? Oh, yeah. Ooh, but they right. All right, that's a conjunction right there. You see that? That hieroglyph? That's a conjunction. Okay? All right. This right here, they having a fight. All right, but we're not getting into that. Hey. Let's go to the squares. This is a square right here. Is in red. Yes, red. And we're not talking about colors today, but red in the natal chart is more of like alert, alert, alert. All right. So you see that square. So what is a square? A square is conflict, is pressure, is growth, is friction. That's what that is. It's something that's not comfortable, but it has to move. It's something that's going to move you and it's very uncomfortable. So that's when you be hearing Pluto is squaring Mars. It's like, whoa, Pluto is already deep down and always shifting things in the most excruciating way. And then you talking about Mars? Mars, the planet of war? So this is a square. A square, we equal it to conflict. We equal it to uncomfortable movements. Could be some blockages, something that's not letting you move forward, even if it is in a good standard, is a halt in our plans. Something to stop and think, ooh, should we use that? Let's stay focused. All right. So now we're going to move into trines. TRINE. And think about that as sweetness, a sweet flow. And if you can see this square, right? I mean, this triangle right here, that's a trine. And so think it's three aspects, three planets, or asteroids, right? Because we always include Chiron in there. They're coming together to open up doors, to be able to allow yourself to show up with ease. And like, or the door's already open for you, all you have to do is show up. So when you think of a trine, you think of a triangle, you think about three aspects, three planets, 3 points in the transit chart that is going to open up doors for you. All right. Now, we have opposition. You already know, in a sense, what an opposition is. Opposition is something that is obviously connected to what a square is. However, this opposition is bringing in a balance. It's when two planets are staring at each other from the other side of the natal chart. And I'll share this with you. I'm about to tell you right now. I'm about to show you. Because it's like a stare down. Who's having one? Let me see. Nobody's having. I know when. Okay. The example here would be with the moon and the sun. The moon and the sun are always going to be opposite from each other. All right. And when the moon and the sun hit a certain degree, prime example, any new moon or full moon that comes along, when the full moon is activated or the new moon is activated, it's always going to be on the opposite side of the chart, having some type of standoff with the sun and whatever planets are over there. And so, with that being said, we could think about how can we bring a balance to both sides of the chart? How can we bring harmony between the two needs and desires of these two transiting planets or aspects? All right. And then the last one that I'm going to share with you guys is sextile. I know sextile. I mean, it's opportunities knocking on your door. It's not intense. All right. So you can at times miss these opportunities because it's not straight up all the way in your face. However, it's like this magical door that is answered for you. It's on that space of, I believe this is going to happen for me. Let me test it out. This is the moment when we have this fear of, let me see if I find one for y'all. Here we go. Is Mars having, all right. Mars is having a sextile with Jupiter, with Uranus and Taurus. So you see this right here, this cute little star. Star. So this right here, it creates a great harmony, just like the trine. It creates great harmony, but it's softer. It's not intense, like I shared, and it's a door that is unexpected. So when we look at our weather, our current weather in our charts, we can begin to see where these beautiful opportunities are at, and we can harness that energy while the other part of our chart is being chaotic. And this is where we once again bring balance to what lessons we are shifting, what missions we are accepting in our lives. All right. So, where am I? I'm right here. All right. So we got that down packed. Like I said, we taking our time. We're going to talk about the power of the transit cycles. This is the part where it gets beautiful. Why? Because when we talk about Jupiter is going into Cancer, or Jupiter only goes around all 12 zodiac signs every 12 years, right? You just be like, what the hell is, why do she always talks about the what happened in 10 years ago, what happened 8 years ago? Like, why do I care about all of that? And this is the reason why. Right now, Jupiter is in, as we speak, when you see this video, of course, it's going to be in a different mindset. Where's gone? In a different mindset, in a different sign. Because Jupiter is about to go into Cancer. All right. I don't know where that. So I'm going to speak about how the cycles, the numbers of the cycles, how they work, and things like that. I'm going to start with the moon, go with the inner planets, and then the outer planets, so you guys can understand. Because, like I said, every 29 years, Saturn does this thing in your chart that pushes you to grow. And this is very good for those of you who have children and your children haven't reached the age of 27 yet. You can get a glimpse of why they shift at a certain age. This is really good. This helped me understand my personal life. All right. This is why I do it, right? So let's talk about the personal planets, the inner planets. All right. These move quickly. They are our day-to-day thoughts. They're our feelings, our actions, our relationships, all of those beautiful aspects. This is our personal planets and illuminators, right? So let's talk about the moon. The moon is every 2 or 2.5 days that it moves. All right. And it goes through a 28-day cycle. And then it takes that long in each zodiac sign. So that's when you have a full lunar cycle. You have the new moon of Aries in March, and then you have the full moon in Aries in October, more or less. That's a whole cycle. However, you're always wondering why I feel this way. This is because every 2.5 days, yes, we all shift our emotions depending on the weather. So don't be like that anymore to yourself. Why do I feel this way? Check the moon. Venus. Venus is every 3 to 5 weeks per sign, and it takes about 2 to 4 months if it's retrograde. All right. Mars is every 2 to 3 weeks. However, we already know that when it goes retrograde, it takes 6 to 7 months. Do you see it in Cancer? We finally about to get out of that. All right. And then excuse me, Mercury, I apologize. Mercury is every 2 to 3 weeks. And it does it like it goes retrograde 4 times, 3 to 4 times a year. Mars does 6 to 8 weeks. My apologies for that. Mars does 6 to 8 weeks. And like I said, it does stay up to 6 to 7 months in retrograde. So I'm allowed to make mistakes. You know how much I had to remember? All right. The outer planets is the generational planets, meaning that us as a collective, we're all going through that. Is the transpersonal planets, how we're interacting with each other, how each generation interacts with each other, how we can have some compassion for some generations because of where these planets are at. I'm just sharing. Jupiter takes between 12 to 13 years to go around all 12 zodiac signs. So that means each year, Jupiter jumps into a new zodiac sign. Like I said, right now is in Jupiter. And then you can think about right now, 12 years ago, what transpired for you in the themes of Jupiter: expansion, unexpected surprises, abundance. Personal story: around this time, 12 years ago, I started my fitness career, and Jupiter did a damn thing. I personally was still shifting on sharing, but I was doing my own personal astrology, and I used the energy, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to use this to expand, and I sure did expand. I did extremely well in the fitness sector in my life. So with that being said, Jupiter is still going to be in Gemini for some time. Check out now, where's that weather in your chart? All right. Saturn takes 2.5 to 3 years per sign. We have Uranus, however you want to say it, takes about 7 years in each sign. Right now it's in Taurus and is going to be moving into Gemini, and then it's going to do a 7-year cycle. So at times when you feel that you've arranged some things in your life, and then all of a sudden it feels like it's not quite clicking yet, it's because of this longevity of transitioning and shifting and incorporating, and like incorporating the lessons, doing practical things in order to allow this energy to settle in and transform us. Transform us. All right, I'm gonna be serious. Neptune every 14 years. So now, even whenever you watch this video, Neptune is gonna be in Aries for the next 14 years. So what the concept of this is, what is the theme of Neptune? What is the theme of Aries? And how is this going to transpire for me in the next 14 years? And how can I take my time transforming this energy and incorporating it into my life? Then we have that Pluto energy that we all experience, and that happens every 12 to 30 years that Pluto decides what it wants to do in its sign. So right now it's in Aquarius and it's doing its 30-year cycle, 20, 30-year cycle. It's doing a 20-year cycle. Yeah, that's what you said. Right? I think I got to go back. Listen, but it's doing a long, long cycle. And we will never see this energy again. So seeing Pluto in Aquarius, we will never see this again. Because it takes that long to go through each zodiac sign. We just had Pluto in Capricorn and it did 14. Woo. Imagine 30. Oh my God. All right. So, and then we'll talk about Chiron, who's an asteroid. However, it destroys. It really, really works deep into our healing, our wounds, our spiritual evolution, how we basically learn from our wounded lessons and then pretty much accept and honor while we have the courage to be vulnerable to share with others so that they can heal. That's what Chiron comes in. And it does 7 to 9 years. And right now is working on our ego in Aries. Okay. How y'all feeling? So, you talking all of this. Why you made this video? Why does it even matter in my life? It helps us really stop thinking that everything is happening to us, right? Or that we're behind, or that, oh, why is this person, that the comparison energy can settle down, right? Because now we're understanding who we are and what is our mission and how it's okay to sometimes just sit back and grieve. How it's okay to not be in a space of the abundance that we desire because we're shifting our financial statuses, because Venus is doing something in our 8th house and we're learning how to shift our finances. So yes, there's a period of time where we can be having some financial concerns and we might go through the mindset of a scarcity mindset and and then Venus comes in and is like, hold up, we're just shifting. You don't have to go down that spiral, right? This helps us not go down that spiral. This helps us invite energies to help us with our challenges. So you don't say to yourself, am I crazy? Everybody says that to themselves. Am I overthinking it? Am I all right? This really also helps us understand other people. Because when you sit there and you understand that you having a conflict in your natal chart, are you going to be approaching people that puts you in a space of amplifying that conflict because you found out you have a square and today could be the day that you punch somebody in the face? But you looked at your weather today and you said, my weather's looking a little foggy. I'm going to push back. I'm not going to have this conversation today. And Tracy had hit me up and she had requested for me to see if it's a great time for her to do something personal in her life. And the advice was given and we have free will. Yet she took the advice and recognized that, wow, this transit energy really helped me not overdo it with whatever it was that I was going to be approaching in my life. And she gave me back the feedback. So thank you, Tracy. That was a while back. But this is a great time for me to share that there's times where I didn't know when was the right time to leave the last job that I had. And then it was October of 2021. There was a transit energy that was happening in my chart. And it was like, do it. Quit now. Do it. I found it. And I did it. And I have been a complete independent contractor since 2021, but I've always had some type of salary part-time job before 2021. But I use astrology. I use astrology. I use astrology to travel. I use astrology to make business decisions, right? No, it's not every day. We don't have to be in the planets every day. Although if you are, it's really good. However, there's a sense of balance, right? Of still following your intuition, because this is what we talk about, the science, the math behind astrology, where it's calculated, yet you have your own internal system. So when we combine our internal system with this calculated system, we can maximize and enhance the energy. Even if it's a chaotic energy, even if it is the energy of turmoil where you have to let go and let God, and let the universe, let whoever you believe in. All right. So astrology, for the most part, is for us to get into alignment, for us to give permission for these energies to assist us, for us to be able to go through the heartbreak again, losing the house, right? Healing our inner child, knowing that we trust that this is the process. All right. And when we allow ourselves to let this energy transform us, we can become a bit softer. There are times where we have to be in that masculine energy where we got to do in order to receive, right? And there's times where we really have done what we can, and now it's time for us to sit back and receive. But if you don't sit back and receive, knowing that Venus may be in your 8th house, giving you a little something for your money, and you out here doing something else, and then you be like, oh, God don't love me, the universe don't love me. Did you check? I've been through that spiral. But I'd be like, ah. And I'm not talking about, oh, back in the days. I'm talking about last week. I was like, what's going on? And it was like, there's a couple of things you got to fix. Go ahead, cry, but you got to fix some stuff, lady. All right. So don't be afraid to get deeper into learning your language, your astrology language, your weather, what's going on in your rooms, what guests are there, and how they shifting things for you. All right. So let me know how you enjoy this language that we're speaking here. All right. And for the most part, when we come back and we speak about astrology, you can now come with your transit chart and you can figure out how these energies are affecting you. Right now, especially for those of you who are going to be figuring out where the moon energy is at, this video is going to be very, very helpful to let you know how to now initiate, have intention into the rituals that you do and what you're requiring or requesting or commanding into your life. All right. I feel accomplished. I love y'all so much. Don't forget again to book your transit reading, because as usual, I do have that for y'all. I have the astrology charts live readings where we sit for about 2.5 hours together, and I'll do a live reading for you. The monthly transit charts is for you to see what's happening. When you ask for the information, is going to be for the following month so that you can have time. So if you come to me in April, I'm going to give you information for May so that you can prepare yourself. You come in May, I'll give you information for June. I'm always going to be a month ahead, because at the end of the day, it's for you to look at your transit chart. Maybe not on a daily basis. Maybe something is not happening every day, but something is happening and you would like to hone in on it. All right. You can do this for your business. You could do this for your mother who might be getting on your nerves. You know, like, what's going on in my mother's chart? Welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I love you guys so much. And don't forget that we always have updated astrology videos, updated manifestation videos. Check out the shorts so you can grab your daily affirmations and inspirations. And I love you. TikTok. Get hype over there.